बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलामुअलैकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम 9th क्लास बायोलॉजी चैप्टर नंबर 2 सॉल्विंग अ बायोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम का नेक्स्ट टॉपिक फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ हाइपोथेसिस और इससे आगे वाले टॉपिक्स में सिलेक्ट होने वाले डिफरेंट शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस और MCQs के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे. सो द फर्स्ट शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन दैट मे बी आस्क्ड, that is the definition of a hypothesis, and hypothesis definition is the tentative explanation of observations is called a hypothesis. The next definition may be, it may be defined as proposition that might be true. So the first short question is about the definition of a hypothesis. The next short question is about the characteristics of a good hypothesis. And a good hypothesis should be a general statement. It should be a tentative idea. It should agree with available observations. It should be kept as simple as possible, and it should be testable and potentially falsifiable. And the last question which may be asked is how a hypothesis is formed. A great deal of careful and creative thinking is necessary for the formulation of a hypothesis. Biologists used reasoning to formulate hypotheses. So these are the three questions related to this topic, and if we consider different MCQs which may be asked, the first one is about the definition of hypothesis, and that is the tentative explanation of observations is called hypothesis. So this definition may also be asked as MCQs, and the other MCQs may be selected from the characteristics. Hypothesis may be a general statement. It should be a tentative idea. It should agree with the available observations. Hypothesis should be simple. Hypothesis should be testable and potentially falsifiable. Biologists use reasoning for formulation of a hypothesis. The next point is about deductions. The question may be asked, what are deductions? Deductions are the logical consequences of a hypothesis. How deductions are formed? Deductions are formed when a hypothesis is taken as true and expected results are drawn from it. The next one is about experimentation. What is the most basic step of biological method? The most basic step of biological method is experimentation. In the same way, why biologists perform experiments? Biologists perform experiments to see if hypotheses are true or not. What is learned through experimentation? Through experimentation, biologist learns which hypothesis is correct. The incorrect hypotheses are rejected, and the one which proves correct is accepted. So that is the importance of experimentation. Through experimentation से accepted तक. And the last one is summarization of results. How results are summarized? Biologists gather actual quantitative data from experiments Data for each of the groups are then averaged and compared statistically, and the conclusions are drawn from this statistical analysis. As far as the MCQs on this page may be, what is the step after hypothesis? And the answer is deductions. Deductions are logical consequences of hypothesis. In the same way, deductions involve the use of if as a logic. The most basic step of biological method is experimentation. The deductions are drawn from hypothesis. Through experimentation, biologists learn which hypothesis is correct. Biologist gathers actual quantitative data from experiments. Our next topic is, what is control experiment? Or it may be asked, why biologists use control in experiments? And the answer is, starting from here till end. In science, when doing experiments, it must be a controlled experiment. The scientist must contrast an experimental group with the control groups. The two groups are treated exactly alike except for the one variable being tested. And there is example of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. And the last one is reporting the results. What is the advantage of reporting the results, or why biologists report the results, or why reporting the results is important in biological method? Biologists publish their findings in scientific journal and books, in talks at international and international meetings, and in seminars at colleges and universities. So why it is important? Publishing of results is an essential part of scientific method. It allows other people to verify the results or apply the knowledge to solve other problems. So these two questions may be asked as short one, and the MCQs may be, in science, when we are doing experiment, it must be a controlled experiment, and experimental group and control group are involved in an experiment. Two groups are treated alike except for the one variable being tested. Biologists publish their findings in scientific journal and books. So the first topic about the steps of biological method has been completed. In the next topic we shall discuss inshallah malaria, and till then Allah Hafiz.